Welcome back to another juicy episode of our How Not to Build a Camper Van series. So this is episode 14 and we've actually got quite a lot done, even though we've been beating ourselves up, haven't we? That we haven't.
Well, it felt like the last few weeks that, because I haven't really been able to get down here, and also I've been on my own and the weather has been rubbish.
Yeah.
But when we sit back and reflect on, well, just even look at the van, we've done quite a lot.
It's
so
been good.
I've framed out the sky vent, we've got the walls up.
Yeah.
We've tinted the windows, and I've carpeted one door and carpeted around the windows as well, just so that there's nothing showing when we actually frame it out. Oh, and obviously we've started to paint the walls as well.
Yeah, so not only got the walls in, but we've also painted it, and the walls have been tricky.
Meet Bohemia, our trusty LDV convoy. Well, sometimes. Woo!
Yes, Bohemia.
We're turning this old school bus into our tiny home on wheels. And that's us, Steph and Els. Are you right, babe?
No.
What are you doing? Are you okay, hon?
Well, I'm fine that just how flexible I still am.
Do you want a hand?
Yeah.
What are you doing under there?
Oh, I was cutting. And now I've finished cutting. Ow. Go to the window.
Well done. To the window! To the wall! To the wall! What are you doing?
Hello.
So we actually didn't film much of this, but mainly Steph, we've ply-lined our van. So
It has walls! Oh my god, my hair looks ridiculous.
let me show you. Whoa! So half of that's in, and half of that's in. I say half because we actually need to take it back out so that we can tint our windows and carpet.
Can you also explain why one window is smaller than the other?
Can I explain why one window is smaller than the other? Okay. Can you? Can you explain?
So basically our mattress and our bed's going to come up, well, probably past this, so there was no point having a window, and also it meant that our mattress would probably get wet by the condensation on the window, so we have made it higher.
That's our reasoning. Babe!
Okay, so the original wood that we bought to go on the inside of the sky vent frame actually doesn't fit because obviously our van is wonky due to the ceiling sloping down at the back. There's bigger gaps here and here in comparison to like the front. So what we've decided is we've got quite a lot of cladding offcuts left over. So the cladding is thinner than the other wood. Obviously it's wider, but that I'm just going to cut that with the jigsaw now, and that should fit behind there, basically behind the sky vent, because we want to be able to still access this mesh bit and take it off to clean it. Obviously if we put the thick wood over it, that will cover it completely. So yeah, this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to use cladding to frame it out. I've had a few issues with trying to get the framing to stick to each other. Obviously it's really thin and I've got no way of putting it in the vise to be able to get it to stick at the corners, just because they're different widths. So I've resorted to sticking it one by one and also suspending it with another piece of cladding. Current situation, I've actually only got 3 sides glued because that one's just wedged in there. And we are going to have some trim along the bottom of this bit here. So I might get away with not gluing them. Okay, so I have been obviously sorting out the window frame on our plywood. Got this piece of wood here, is drying, because that's going to be part of our windowsill, I have been cracking on with carpeting this door. I mean, it doesn't actually look too bad on here. It looks like I've done quite a good job, but a lot of people online say that it's really easy to use this kind of carpet, and as I have found, it's not that easy. It's great when it's just a straight line, you've got something to tuck it into. I don't know if you can see, there's lots of white metal on display and exposed, and it's quite bad up. Ooh, can't see what I'm pointing at. Why can't I work this out? Oh, there. There. Yeah. And just because I don't feel like we do this enough when we're filming things, for this I've just got some auto carpet, stretch carpet, and it's in grey. It looks quite dark. We've gone for a really dark grey, and then I'm just using carpet adhesive. We've actually used about 3 different versions of this same kind of spray from different people, and this one has been the one that stuck the best so far.
If you've been with us since the beginning, then you'll know all about our failed attempt to tint the windows. So we thought we'd give it another go. So this time we think we're doing it the right way. We think we're doing it the right way because we're gonna try and test it on the outside first, because on the inside, if you own an LDV, you know that the windows dip in.
So I'm not going to explain what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Because we're not experts, I told Steph that if there's any gaps this time, I'll just colour it in with a Sharpie. This is such a tense task. I can see you a little bit. That's a wrap on the window tint. Steph did a really, really good job. I mean, there's a couple of corners that we're not going to talk about, but like I said, I can colour that in. We're not talking about that. I'll show you in the outside, because that's when you can really tell when you have done a tint job, if there's any bubbles. And there is no bubbles, as you can see. She's done a grand job. Next up though, we've got to do this one, which is probably going to be a little bit more ghastly because it's obviously got the window split. Hoping that it's going to be easier. I don't know why I'm hoping that, because we've got to cut around that bit as well. Fun, fun. We're going to have a little tea break first though. Ta-da! Well done, babes. You smashed that. Got a couple of little gaps that we can cover up with a Sharpie, but I think you did a really good job.
So although it looked like at the beginning of the episode that we had got our walls in and it was all hunky-dory, that was not true. No. We have had to change the window sizes that we cut out. We were going to wrap it in vinyl, and we started doing that, but that was an absolute flop. We
Don't buy thin vinyl from the internet.
It was like paper. We thought it was going to be like that stuff that you get in IKEA, but
Well, the pictures on Amazon showed that, but yeah, clearly it doesn't look like we just stuck wallpaper to a piece of ply.
we also tried to fit in this wall, and we didn't have enough ply, so we well and truly problem solved there, didn't we? And you'll see that now. But before we get into that bit, let's have a look at Steph's daily debut of being accident prone.
Okay, now that you've stopped crying, are you okay?
My arm is fucking burning and my ribs hurt, but
What happened?
I fell out the back of the van.
Yeah, so Steph stepped out the back of the van and then fell backwards onto the table. I thought she dislocated her arm.
Well, no, what happened was I wasn't even on this step yet. I went to step on this, but my foot, I must have been on the edge here, so I slipped. So then I turned to try and catch where this step was. It was too late and just fell backwards like spread eagle, like out of the van. I've never cried so hard in my life.
And this was the end result.
So we're just going to have a little break now, aren't we? Yeah. We may have done it quite an odd way in terms of framing out our windows, but we have quite an odd van, so who cares? Yeah. We've used some offcuts of the carpet as well, just to go around the outside. And then there as well. It's all a bit weird, let's not talk about that. So we've had to like build half a frame here and half a frame here, just because this is a strange little vehicle. And our bigger window is already framed out to just slot in nicely there.
So today is the day that we finally start painting our walls, but first of all we need to prepare them. Because we've used quite cheap ply, because you know, budget and everything, we are filling all of the nasty bits around the edges with wood filler, and then we are going to prime the wood before we paint it. So it's a long process, but fingers crossed it'll be worth it in the end. Jemima! Hey!
So as you can see, we've started to paint it. So this bit where we've cladded is where the kitchen's going to be. So we're going to have a splashback there as well. This is just the first coat of primer, and then we're going to be doing a nice sort of off warmish white. Currently watching paint dry.
So as from Monday, we're actually going to both be back at full-time work. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to get to the van, but we're hopeful that we're still going to be able to get here. The days are getting longer now.
Yeah.
So that means that it's going to be lighter in the evenings quite soon, and means that we can come down here and work on the van during the evenings, which also means, and we're going to stick to it, right?
What?
That we're gonna get a
Disco
load. That we're gonna get a weekly video out.
Yes, we're gonna try our best to get a weekly video, if not fortnightly. Yeah, but we do need to get this van moving. In terms of packed up, ready to go.
So that's it. So thanks for watching, guys.
And if you enjoyed this, and if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.